Welcome back, everybody. It's Zach here, bringing you guys another fantasy football video. And this one, I'll be finishing up our series going over the best and worst values at each position across the three major platforms. So in this one, we'll be highlighting the tight end position. Just to sort of give you guys an understanding of how we did this, I sort of just went through the three major platforms, just looked at how much the pre-draft value of each player is, and then I compared that on that platform to the average to sort of see which players have the biggest discrepancy from platform to platform. And that way we can use that information when we're in our drafts to understand which players and which positions as well are going to be really different on which platform we're on. And it'll really allow us to sort of highlight and capture any sort of advantage that we can get out of that. So I think a lot of people really don't take that into account when they're doing their drafts. A lot of people don't really think about the fact that the platform they're on does matter. And I agree with a lot of you guys who've commented and stuff saying that, pre-draft value really shouldn't influence the value of a player, and I totally agree. I wish there was an option on a lot of these platforms to hide it, but the fact of the matter is your league mates, and even you yourself, whether you like it or not, are probably going to be influenced by that little number that pops up on the screen, and it's going to dictate a lot of the value that happens throughout your draft. So it's important to understand how we can take advantage of that and really come into our drafts prepared and understanding what the discrepancies are from platform to platform, because there's going to be a big edge we can gain up there. So yeah, if you guys haven't watched the quarterback, running back, or wide receiver videos, I highly recommend you go watch those as well. And if you guys like this at the end, please do give the video a thumbs up as well. It helps with the algorithm and all that. So yeah, let's just get into the first tight ends here. Starting things off with the ESPN platform, some of the best values there. I'm going to start off with Trey McBride, which is super awesome. One of my favorite draft picks in general this season. Comes in with an average cost of just under $16, but only costs you $11 on ESPN. He's someone that I would absolutely be targeting. Even at that average cost, even a little bit higher than that, I'm perfectly fine paying that. But especially on ESPN, he's a guy that I'm really trying to leave as many of my drafts as I can with. George Kittle also makes this list, comes in with an average cost of $9.7, but only costs $6 on ESPN. That's a really good savings there. Not someone I really find myself drafting a lot of, but for $6, I don't think you can really go wrong there. He's definitely got a ton of upside, and I think he does give you a legitimate shot at having a top 5 tight end, so he's certainly someone that needs to be in consideration. Dalton Kincaid also makes this list. That's super awesome. He's another player that I really do try to see myself leaving a lot of drafts with, and being able to get him for cheap on ESPN is great. Comes with an average cost of just over $10, but it'll only cost you $7 on ESPN. I think he is certainly potentially the end of a tier in terms of guys that I think have a legitimate, clear path towards potentially being the tight end 1 this season, and getting that for $7, that's a really great value. David Njoku also makes this list, coming in with an average cost of $6, but only costs $3 on ESPN, so that's a really awesome value. He's definitely someone that I find myself snagging a lot of. If I spend a little bit too much money maybe early on, need to go a little bit cheaper at the tight end position. Then Jake Ferguson, another player that I find myself getting quite a bit. Same thing as Njoku, average cost of $6 and a pre-draft value of ESPN of $3. Really fine value there. He's a guy that certainly profiles for the number 2 target in a really high passing volume offense. And if touchdowns break right for him this season, he's got a shot at double-digit touchdowns, which is not something you can say about a lot of these tight ends available there. So for $3, I totally have no problem snagging him there. Moving on to some of the worst values on the ESPN platform, I'll start things off with Travis Kelce. He comes in with an average cost of $29, but costs $34 on ESPN. So just a little bit too expensive for me there. I think $29 is even really on the high end of what I would consider being willing to pay. But spending $34 there, I think that's a little bit too much. If I'm going to be drafting Kelce, it's going to be on a platform where he's coming in at a bargain, and I don't see that happening really on the ESPN platform this year. Sam Laporta as well, sort of the same thing. I don't find myself really trying to target these top tier tight ends very much, and especially on ESPN, they're just a lot more expensive than other platforms. So Laporta comes in with an average cost of $31, costs you $35 on ESPN. That's just not something that I'd be looking to target. I don't think it's really justifiable when you can get a guy like McBride for $11. So I'd certainly avoid both those top 2. Next up, we've got Evan Ingram, who comes in with an average cost of $8.7, but costs $11 on ESPN. I have no problem with the $11 price tag. I think it's just fine. He's going to be a difference maker at the tight end position, be a really reliable asset. I'm willing to pay that $11 for him, even though it is certainly a little bit above that average. I'd obviously also rather have McBride for that same price, but I think $11 is a perfectly fair price tag on Ingram as well. And then after that, every single other tight end was either a good value or a fair value on this platform, meaning that they were either average cost or below average cost. So really, aside from those 3 tight ends, you can't really go wrong on the platform, but I think the one thing that I would highlight here is just going to be that on ESPN, you probably don't want to be targeting those top 2 tight ends, and then other than that, I think you can pretty much just take whichever guy you like the most. Moving on to the Yahoo platform, just to go over some of the best and worst values here. Really, the fact of the matter is that every single tight end on Yahoo is cheap. Literally not a single one of them costs more than the average price tag. So that's kind of a really fun thing to note, is that if you're in an auction draft on Yahoo, you're going to get your tight end for cheaper than you would on another platform. So just keep that in mind. I think it's going to be big opportunity that's going to present itself. You can just sort of look for values. All the pre-draft values are a lot lower here, so nobody comes in as a bad value. Actually, it's certainly something that I would be more so just looking for whichever tight end stands out to you is the best value. Something that really stood out to me, so we've got George Kittle coming in with an average cost of just under $10, but only costs $2 on Yahoo. So getting George Kittle for free is certainly something that I'm in on. Dalton Kincaid, same thing here, comes in with an average cost of just over $10, but costs $3 on Yahoo. That's an insane value. If you can ever get Dalton Kincaid for $3, you've got to do it. Mark Andrews comes in with an average cost of $15 and only costs $8 on Yahoo. That's a great value. Kyle Pitts, average cost of just over $8, but costs $2 on Yahoo. That's fantastic. Evan Ingram, average cost just under $9, costs $3 on the platform. The fact of the matter is, all of these tight ends are really great values. It'll be interesting to see as we get deeper into the offseason if that shifts around. Maybe Yahoo's going to fix that. But if it stays like that, I think I would just definitely look for whichever one you like the most. And honestly, there's not a huge trend in terms of which ones are better or worse values. So it's just a matter of taking advantage of the fact that you're going to put less of your budget towards your tight end position and just get whichever guy you want, get your favorite guy, and he's going to come at a relatively good cost on this platform regardless. And finally here, we've got the Sleeper platforms. We'll start things off with the best values available, and really Sleeper just continues to be the weirdest one of all of these. They tend to have some really wacky auction values compared to the other two platforms, in my opinion, and I think it's definitely something we want to take advantage of. The thing here is that similar to the top tier, or similar to the quarterback position, if you guys have watched that video earlier, the top tier guys are actually the ones that present values to you guys. They don't really, the price drop off doesn't really represent what the value drop off is normally for a snake draft. So a lot of the top tier guys and just the high end players in general on Sleeper are a lot cheaper than you'd expect them to be. And then as you get into like the lower tier guys, those guys end up being overpriced. So it really does lend itself in that Sleeper platform towards being a little bit more aggressive early on. Get those really elite players because they come in at a really deflated cost compared to the inflated cost of some of these guys going on later. But Sam Laporta comes in with an average cost of 31.3 and only costs 28 on Sleeper. That's still a little more than I'd like to pay, but if you're going to be paying a lot of money for your tight end anyway, you might as well get the best one. And then Travis Kelce, same thing, comes in with an average cost of 29.3 and also has a pre-draft value of 28 on Sleeper. Other than those two guys, though, every single tight end on the platform is more expensive than or as expensive as the average across the three platforms. So keep that in mind. If you want to get a below average price tag on a tight end, you've pretty much got to get one of those top two because it's not going to happen to the other guys. And then to close things out with some of the worst values of the Sleeper platform, again, pretty much all the tight ends are overpriced on this platform. I would generally recommend trying to avoid paying these price tags because, like I said, I don't really want to be spending a lot on Kelce or Laporta either, but I don't want to be spending the price tags that we're looking at for these guys either, so I'd probably just be looking to see if we can get one that goes for cheap. There's going to be tight ends in your Sleeper drafts, especially in auction formats. They're going to go for significantly less than these pre-draft values. I think they're a little bit out of hand, and they're going to need to get changed, but definitely some guys we could highlight here. We've got George Kittle coming in with an average cost of 9.7 and costs $21 on Sleeper, so more than double. Dalton Kincaid, same thing, $10.3 average cost, $21 price tag on Sleeper. Kyle Pitts costs 8.3 on average, but costs $17 on Sleeper. Mark Andrews costs $15 on average, but costs $23 on Sleeper. Jake Ferguson costs $6, costs $13 on Sleeper. Just basically, we're looking at paying around double, if not more, for all the tight ends in the Sleeper platform. And what that really means to me is just wait until somebody goes for a reasonable price. I don't think it's going to be realistic to see guys like Dalton Kincaid's probably not going to be $21 in every draft you're in. George Kittle is not going to be $21. Jake Ferguson going for $13 is just silly. I wouldn't be paying anywhere near these price tags, so I would just sort of wait and see if you can get a value at it. And if you can't, if everyone in your league is just insisting on paying these price tags for these guys, just take the bullet, stream the position, get Dallas Goedert and TJ Hawkinson or something late, go for a late round flyer and just see if you can stream the position well, because I can't justify spending $13 on Jake Ferguson or spending $20 on Kyle Pitts or whatever. So don't force yourself to draft one of these better tight ends just because the platform's telling you they're worth a lot when really the other two platforms are telling you they shouldn't be going for that much. And if nothing adjusts, just don't spend up for the tight end on Sleeper because it's just not going to be worth it here. So that'll do it for the best and worst values at the tight end position across the three major platforms. If you guys have any questions or any of that, feel free to let me know in the comments below. I'll be uploading a table as well to my website, just going over what all these pre-draft values are across the three platforms so you guys can see that. I know it is really hard to sort of dig that out. Fun announcement as well, I will be putting out a draft kit. It'll be coming out on August 1st. It's going to be free for you guys, but I'm just going to go over some like my favorite draft picks at every position, sleepers, busts, values, breakouts, league winners. I'll go over my projections, rankings, all that. It'll be free for you guys. Just sort of wanted to put out a draft kit because I know a lot of people have been curious about it, and I haven't done that so far to date, really, doing this so far. But it'll be fun to put one of those guys together for you guys and just sort of get it in your hands for free, do what we can to help you guys win your leagues this year. So that should be a lot of fun as well. There'll be 4 videos going out a week throughout the rest of the off season. Going to keep doing stuff during the regular season as well. We'll try and get some live streams going and all that. So stay tuned for that. That's going to be a lot of fun. We'll also be doing a listener league again like we did last year, so stay tuned for that. Going to have to fill up some more spots, but that's going to be a lot of fun. And there's a lot of announcements coming, a lot more coming up. And if you just want to make sure you don't miss any of it, just make sure you subscribe to the channel and stick around. We're going to have a lot of fun. We're going to win a lot of championships this year. So appreciate all you guys. It's been a lot of fun doing this, and we're really getting close to football. I think we're 4 or 5 days away right now from the Hall of Fame game, and we're going to have real NFL football soon. So super excited about all that and super excited to keep doing this. So appreciate you guys, and I'll catch you with the next one. Peace. Thank you guys for watching. If you haven't already, please be sure to subscribe to the channel, like the video, check out these other videos here if you haven't. If you want more content, please feel free to follow me on Twitter at RealSteelFFB. I'll be more active on there as the season goes on. Thanks. Catch you later.